Hey, Miss Hope, we're almost done. So I'm going to do number 6 now, and I have them all written here. So basically, it gives you the equation at the beginning, and then 6a says find f of -2. And it's not asking you for the derivative, it's simply just asking you to find f of -2 for the regular formula. So I'm going to plug -2 into all the x values in the formula, and I have them all written right here. The circles are just the amount of marks everything is. So I have the formula up here, and I am going to do f of -2. So -2 equals 0.5 times -2 squared minus 8 over -2. So now I am in PEMDAS, you do exponents before multiplication. So I'm going to -2 squared is 4. And then when you multiply that times 0.5, it gives you 2. So that little part of the equation becomes 2. And then if you do -8 over -2, it becomes 4 because you're dividing negative by a negative. And then you pull that down and it comes addition. And 2 plus 4 equals 6. So you get 6 from when you plug -2 into the thing. So f of -2 is, hold on, f2 equals 6. So this is so hard to do holding and like writing at the same time. Okay, so now you're going to find the derivative of the original equation. So I'm going to bring that down. So that is 0.5x squared minus 8 over x. So, okay, so when you find the derivative, you are first going to multiply 2 times 0.5, and that just gives you 1x. And you subtract 1 from the exponent, so there's a 1 there, but technically it is it's just understood that the x remains itself. So you're left with x, and then negative 8 over x is understood to be is understood to be 8x to the -1, and when you multiply that, when you and there's a negative right here, and when you multiply them together, you get 8x, and when you subtract 1 from that, it is a -2. So ultimately, the derivative of it is x plus 8x to the -2. So that is the answer to part B. Okay, let's move on. So in C, you are supposed to find the gradient of the graph at x equals -2. So here, you are just going to plug in -2 to the formula. Yes, you're going to plug -2 into this formula right here. So you are going to do -2 plus 8 times -2 to the -2. You're doing this just because it's asking you to find the gradient at that certain point. So in PEMDAS, you do exponents first. So -2 to the -2nd power is going to be 0.25. and you multiply that, you multiply that by 8, and that is going to give you 2. And then when you add this 2 all the way up here to that 2, this isn't neat, but I'm explaining it. When you add that 2 to that 2, so 2 minus 2 equals 0. And that is ultimately your gradient of the graph at x equals -2, so 0. Next, let t be the tangent of the graph of f at x equals -2. Write down the equation of 2. So here, I am going to use point-slope form to write my equation of t. And point-slope form is basically y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So here I am going to plug in the values, which should leave me with just x, y, and x as my variables. So y is going to stay the same because I do not have my y value. And then I am going, my y1 is going to be 6 because up here in part A, I found 6 to be f of, I found it to be 6 because it's still asking me x at -2. So I'm going to use that 6, and then it's going to equal 0 because in part, what part was it? In part C, I found the gradient of the graph, so I'm using these values that I just got to be 0. So that is the gradient minus x minus x1, and for x1 I am going to use 2. Okay. Oh, and since technically it is -2 since that is the point I'm using, but since the formula it's that, then it's going to become a +2. So that is my formula right there, y minus 6 equals 0 parentheses x plus 2. However, this, I'm going to transfer this to, what is it called? Y equals mx plus b form, slope-intercept form. And on that, basically, you just want the y on itself and everything else over here. So you are going to add the 6 on each side. So it is going to equal y equals 0, x plus 2, plus 6. And since the 0 cancels everything out, the equation is simply y equals 6. So that is the equation of t. So for 6e, it says sketch the graph of f for -5 is less than or equal to x, and then yeah. So those are just the increments right there. And I'm using graph paper. I already have the graph just kind of written out. And in this, it is referring to the original equation of 0.5x squared minus 8 over x. So I am going to graph that to make it easier for myself. I am going to use my calculator. Oops, ignore this part. I'm going to place that in my calculator, and it is going to graph. I have the increments set up on my calculator at my windows right here, as you can see. So I'm simply just going to try and do the best I can of tracing this graph. So first, this is very difficult, Miss Hope. Please have sympathy for me. I worked very hard for this moment. Oh my gosh. Miss Hope, this is so bad. Oh my gosh. I'll do a better job at the end. Okay. And it's very hard. And then here is the other part of the graph. So I'm going to attempt to do this as well. So bad. Okay. So that's kind of what this looks like. This is obviously more stretched out, like these are the same length, but in reality, they're going to be a lot more scrunched up because you have the 5 increments on the x-axis. So that should be more what it looks like right there. And then this, that somewhat, again, this is much more shrinked up. And I'm at 11 minutes, so I apologize, Miss Hope, but you love me. Okay. So now we are going to do F, and that is draw T on your sketch, and this is 2 marks. So basically, when we found T, we found that that is y equals 6. So simply, I am going to go, I can do it in my calculator as well. Oh my gosh. Look what I've done. Oh my gosh. This is bad. Okay, so now I have to type this in again. 0.5x squared minus 8 over x. Okay, and then I'm just simply going to put y equals 6, and I'm going to graph it. I don't need to look at the graph for this because I can just go right here, and I'm going to get my ruler, and I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I am going to draw a line right there. I don't know how I'm gonna hold it and do it. I'm just not gonna. So I'm just gonna draw a line right there. And I'm just going to draw a line right there. And I make sure that it ends at the increments. So that is T right there. And I am labeling this as T. This line as T. And I guess this one is called F. Oh, it would be so yeah, that's just F. Alrighty, so that is my graph of T. That is part F. So lastly, at 6G, use your graphic display calculator to find the coordinates of P. So right here, oh my gosh, I did not draw this good. Okay, so I'm going to erase this now. Because it definitely was not supposed to go all the way down there because I'm not supposed to have an intersection there. So I'm going to make it more like this right here. Please forgive me. So basically, since they don't intersect right there, I am finding this intersection right here, which it looks somewhere around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 6-ish right here, but I'm going to go in my graphing calculator and I'm going to solve. So second, trace, and then I'm going to go to 5, which is intersect, enter, and then, where is my thing? Oh, here it is. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to hit enter 3 times. And look at me, I was right. So this intersect right here is 4, 6. So The final answer to part G is 4, 6 is where they intersect.